Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Davenport. I'll bet everybody in this room knows an older adult who suffered a fall and had a terrible injury. Well, it's a $50 billion public health crisis. Look, fall prevention is a great idea, but it's not working. More than 1 in 4 older adults falls each year. And after the first fall, older adults are twice as likely to fall again. That's why we're building the safety vest. It's a 360-degree wearable fall protection from the hips up to the head. Because look, if we can't prevent our loved ones from falling, let's protect them when they do, whether they're at home or in assisted living or memory care. The safety vest uses a motion sensor to detect a fall in real time. Airbags inflate in less than half a second, and then they deflate to absorb the impact. It's reusable and non-stigmatizing. For decades, and even today, fall protection has really been underwear with special padding over the hips. But 5 years ago, crash vests came out for motorcyclists and downhill skiers. Great for them, not a great option for my grandparents. There are a few airbag belts in the pipeline, but they only protect the hips, and that's not good enough. Think about traumatic brain injuries. Falls are the #1 cause for seniors over 65. Our team includes a leading fall researcher in the US, a long-term care expert, a CFO, a social scientist. Jay Davenport's idea for the safety vest was informed by his 30-year career as an orthopedic surgeon on the Iron Range. We have a patent, a fully functional prototype. Senior care leaders tell us they need this now because in the US, an older adult falls every second of every hour. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So thanks for a very interesting presentation, and I also had the chance to look at your website as well. I am curious if this is a medical device or a wellness product, and what your decision about that has meant for your business model.
Well, actually, it's neither. We're calling it a safety technology. We see this as very similar to a life jacket that you would wear on the water, but this is the life jacket on the land. And so we'll have to navigate some of those regulatory issues as we go forward, but we have the functioning prototype, and our instincts tell us that there may be, this may not require an FDA classification if it's in the consumer realm. It may need some sort of like a class 1 type classification if it's going to be used for long-term care organizations, hospitals. So we'll just have to kind of play that by ear, but manufacture it from the beginning in a way that will work either way.
Thank you, Ryan. Really nice presentation. I thought I actually saw something similar in this out in the marketplace. Can you comment on some of the recent competition out there and how you differentiate?
Sure. So I've seen something called an S airbag. It's a Chinese product, and they're all over social media, which good for them. But one thing I would say about that is, from what we can tell from all the videos, what separates ours from what they're doing is that we have deflation built into the airbags so that there is an opportunity to decelerate before you hit the floor. If you think of a mattress, like a camping mattress or something, that you take the air nozzle off, you would slowly sink to the floor. That's kind of our approach that differentiates. When you watch their videos, they inflate really firm and bounce. So I think that's a critical difference because we're talking about concussion or contre coup, sort of a bounce back injury.
So my biggest concern is adoption. Have you done any focus groups with elderly people? Who makes this recommendation? Is it the caregiver? Is it the child? Is it the physician? Who's making
That's a great question. We've talked to caregivers, people who are caring for their own loved ones. We've talked with nursing home operators, physicians, and even paramedics. One thing that we're finding is that if we start with people who already have a history of falls, and maybe history of falls with injury, the feedback that we're getting is that they'll work with something that will allow them to not go through that experience again. So yes, we're going to make it look like regular clothing, but it's what's inside that's really going to make the difference. And we think that Seniors who want to stay active, want to be independent, are going to be very willing to adopt this technology because it's going to look like regular clothing. It's just going to have a very specific purpose.
I think that is a big interesting part is the look of it, in a good way. I'm curious about, is it just a hardware solution, or are you also thinking about connectivity or notification, first responders, right, when these events do happen?
Right. Yeah, so it will, on deployment of the airbags, it will send a notification to a nurse's station or to some central care center, or it would go to a loved one, so notifying them that the airbags have gone off. And also, we're going to make this activated through an iPhone app, an iOS system, or whatever platform will work. So it'll be able to not only activate with an iPhone, it will monitor like biometrics and fitness and other things that are kind of out there, but will make it versatile that way. And yeah, the idea is we want it to be as simple to use as possible, so it won't require the iPhone use, but it certainly can be augmented with an iPhone.
How, if I can ask a follow-up, cost? ASP, what are you thinking?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, it costs about $500 to make it. So from there, that's how we start with trying to figure out what the retail price would be. This needs to be Medicare approved, and so you know, when we go from the prototype to testing and then to pilot studies, it's that data from the pilot studies that will really support our case for Medicare reimbursement. I mean, they're reimbursing scooters, and we think they should reimburse something that will help people stay active.
Great presentation, Ryan. Have you ever thought about doing a tuck-in or add-on to a current emergency provider program, something like a LifeLock or something that alerts somebody when they fall?
You know, it's in the realm. I mean, we're trying to figure out how best to fit. Those are nice innovations because they do let people know that something's happened. Obviously, we think it's too late at that point. Someone's already fallen and hurt themselves. But we are going to keep our eyes open for an opportunity to partner our technology, and we're going to use every avenue we can.